Hey guys, it's me again, Daniel.
And Matthew, and we are the
That
damn
damn brand.
brand.
Oh
Yeah,
well.
I think it always sounds better than you think it does, so I think we'll be all right. We're back with episode 13 of our podcast. It's been almost a month, but we're back. We have things to talk about, and so we're gonna hit the ground running. And we're gonna mention the Twitch Stream Texas meetup that happened in Houston this past weekend. I actually made the trek down to Daniel's town and we hung out and we attended the Stream Texas event. So, how do you think it went?
I think it went really well. I met a lot of cool people. Some people in the stream actually have like a real big following. That's cool to get their advice on things. And met, I don't know, just all different types of streamers from all different genres. Sometimes not even gaming. And it was just neat to meet everyone.
Yeah, there was a guy in a wheelchair that I forgot what the hell he said he streamed exactly, but like you're saying, it's cool to see them from like all different walks of life and all different types of streaming. And something that made this event different than the Stream Texas San Antonio event was there was basically like a bingo card where the different spaces were traits that apply to different streamers. So, for instance, you'd need to find somebody that uses a green screen or somebody that's left-handed, which in which this instance I happen to be the I don't know if I was the only one, but I was definitely the most popular left-handed guy. Like at some point during the night, Daniel and I were talking to two female streamers that we had met, and one of the guys that we spoke to earlier came up and was like, "Hey, Matt, I wanted to introduce you to X, Y, or Z person, and because she needs somebody who's left-handed." And I was like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" So, yeah, it was kind of cool. I felt like the bingo thing, kind of like getting to know you, was a good icebreaker and allowed us to talk to people that we probably would not have gone up to just all willy nilly. And same thing, like people that might not have decided to talk to us. So I think it was very cool. That's something I feel like that they should implement at all events. Like it doesn't matter what city. So that I might bring that up to Will since he's part of the San Antonio leadership, I guess. So, but you got some advice on your stream regarding ultra wide. Do you want to tell people what you decided on that, or?
What have I decided? Well, I'm still gonna play in ultra wide. That's not gonna happen. Like that's not gonna change. But I'll stream in wide, I guess.
Well,
Um,
well, because like, what was that? What were they telling you basically? Like,
well, it's
I
about the
know I
bars.
know what they said, but I want you to expound on it for our listeners and viewers.
It's about the bars, when because because the aspect ratio is wider, and someone who doesn't have an ultra badass monitor won't see the like it'll stretch it out for them, so it'll make the black bars like when you're at the movie. And apparently people don't like that. I got mixed reviews though. It wasn't just negative. But I guess to be more inclusive, I will stream at the standard 16 by 9. But I'm still gonna game my 21 by 9. I didn't buy this monitor just to fucking not use it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was just because one of the guys that you mentioned that had a large following, he's one of the ones who was like, absolutely no way you shouldn't stream an Ultra because it just stretches it out for everyone and all this. So, I mean, he kind of knows what he's talking about, but if as long as you're just scaling the output to the recommended resolution or whatever, then that appeals to a broader audience.
Well,
Then,
it's not scaling. It's gonna be cutting off the edges.
oh, well, whatever works.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we met some really cool people there. Exchanged. We gave out a bunch of business cards that we had made up, and a couple of people were like, "Hey, that's a good idea!" Like the co-op streams and the co-op thing, and um, I think we both got 3 followers like immediately on Twitch like the next day. Uh, so that was cool,
We
and
followed back.
yeah, we did follow back. And they had some pretty cool like swag. I actually have a Twitch cup right here. Actually, it looks like a red solo cup, but it's purple, obviously. And It's like pretty sturdy, not like your typical stuff. So I could see this getting some use. And then I also like won a raffle. Well, technically two raffles. One of them was just like a random one where they give you a number, and I won that. And there's like a shirt and a lanyard and um, a bottle opener, some generic swag. And the other one had a mouse pad and like stickers and stuff. So that was cool too. It was a lot of fun. It was at first we didn't know what to think. So it was it seemed kind of like a really far away hole in the wall kind of bar, but the atmosphere seemed to fit because we had our own like private room in the back, and they had a projector. They're playing. Apparently there was an Overcooked tournament that we could have taken part in. Actually, I had an interesting chat with the bartender about it. She's like, "Why is that kitchen on fire?" Do you remember that?
I remember that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to explain the game to her, but it's all good. So, but some of the people we met, we actually might be doing a podcast with in the future, and we're probably also going to be streaming with them on Twitch in the future. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. We talked about playing Fortnite, but the catch to that is we're not going to be playing the Battle Royale. We're going to be playing Save the World mode because that's how we roll.
It's a co-op stream after all.
It is. It absolutely is. And then also probably some more Overwatch because one of the people we met's a Mercy main, I think. So she said.
Yes.
So yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and that'll be coming soon. So I guess we'll move on unless there's anything else specifically you wanted to mention about that.
Not really.
Okay. And so next thing is both Daniel and I recently decided that we needed or wanted to kind of refresh our PC builds, if you will. It's not a complete rebuild, but it's close. I think the only thing that we saved were like the graphics card and the hard drives. Everything else was new.
Well, to
So
be fair, we're already at the top of like not top of the line, but we already have modern graphics cards. Both our graphics cards are 10 series, you know. And I guess in my sense, like, what would I get that's better?
the Titan maybe, but
You know.
anyway. No, but
But,
so go into why we kind of, decided to do that, I guess.
well, I decided to do it mainly for the streaming. Our our computers were 5 years old, and my CPU was not holding up in some games when we were streaming. Like Far Cry would crash, and I would have to learn tricks like play play the game or start streaming, then quickly switch to my game window because if I wait too long and then I press the game window, it'll just crash both. Would have to restart my computer. It just wasn't a good experience. And when I'm trying to take streaming more seriously, you don't want to do that. So I wanted to get a new build. The Ryzen's seem to be really good for streaming. So right now I have a Ryzen 5 140, which I know is really weak, or not really weak, but not the highest. But it's because I didn't want to spend a lot of money and replace it right when the Ryzen 3 comes out, which will have the Zen 2 architecture. I think that's good. I personally think it's going to be a big bump in power, and it's coming out next year early, so something to hold me over until then. That I'm not scared of overclocking because I know I'm replacing it in a year.
Well, maybe even less than a year, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'm in the same boat. I upgraded to a Ryzen as well. The motherboard was pretty badass. It's a ASUS Crossfire 7 Hero, and Daniel got the one that has Wi-Fi, so
Yeah.
can take his PC around and not have to worry about cords.
If we can take that thing around.
That was going to be my next statement. So we decided on a thermal take case, and it is
The
fucking
Core X9.
huge. Yeah, okay, so the Core X9, I'll probably throw a picture up on screen here, but it is fucking huge. Like, it's the thing about the case is that it had a shitload of USB ports, and it's very modular. So you can basically unscrew everything with like those little like case screws that you can just use your hands on. You can unscrew everything, rearrange it, put it back, and it's cool. It's very cool. It's got a nice big open window on one of the sides that go well with our RGB RAM and RGB motherboard. So you have like nice colors and LEDs and such, which are fully customizable to the ASUS software, the Aura, I believe is what it's
Or
called.
yeah,
Yeah, um, and so it's cool. It's just a big behemoth bastard. That's
yeah. I selected the cases, and then well, I selected my case, and Matt kind of went along with it and got a different color.
I got the white one.
Um, yeah, I got a black one. But if I would have actually known how big it was, I don't think I would have gotten it, to be honest. Like, I'm happy with the purchase. I'm really happy with the case. I think it's a really good case, and if you have a case that you're never gonna move in your life, this is the one to get. But I don't know. It's just kind of big for me.
Yeah, it's like if you intend to go to like LAN parties or, just basically do a lot of traveling with it, it's probably not the case for you. But it's just really cool about how modular it is. Like if you decide you wanted to put your hard drives in a different spot and your fans in a different spot, I think the only thing that looks like it wasn't really maneuverable would be the motherboard, but I don't even know if that's true. Like we didn't do that much customization actually with it, so it might be entirely possible to move the motherboard around a little bit. Um, yeah, it's a good case. We have kind of a noob story about building these refreshes though. I'm gonna go into it if that's okay with you.
That's fine. You were the one who was controlling that.
Well, you had an issue too, but anyway, we'll start with mine. So we decided to rebuild my computer first, and so I put the CPU in and got the thermal paste on, installed my water cooler, got the RAM in there, plugged in the graphics card, and then plugged in the PSU and turned the bitch on, and plugged it into the TV via HDMI. The it's like the out of case build, the cardboard box build or whatever, just to make sure everything works. And it wouldn't post. Like nothing would show up on screen. And the error code that was on the Asus motherboard was 8. And apparently 8 and '08 are different. And so the one that was in the book was not what was happening. And so we spent like, I don't know, an hour or two trying to find solutions online. They said to like refresh the BIOS and or like flash the BIOS or whatever because the one that was shipped with the motherboard is outdated, which we did. And ultimately that turned out to be a good thing because I probably would have had to do that anyway. So it's good that we knocked it out early as one of the troubleshooting steps. But we went through all this shit and I was getting frustrated. I thought maybe like I put the CPU in wrong, like maybe I bent the pins, maybe the water cooler, maybe I didn't put on enough thermal paste. I mean, I reseated the RAM. I tried pretty much anything I can think of to try and figure out what the hell is wrong with it. But I thought maybe that I fried the motherboard or the CPU or whatever. Um, Daniel decided to call tech support. The first time he called, he got somebody that I guess wasn't very helpful. So he hung up, and then I was just kind of like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna RMA this shit, and then whatever, I'll just be without a computer for a while. But then he was persistent, and so he called back, and he got someone else, and so he explained to them the trouble that we're having, and the guy was basically like, okay, so you plugged it in with the 8 pin or 12 pin connector, whatever. Did you also plug in the 6 pin or the 8 pin, whatever, the little smaller one on the other side? And we're like, no. And so, and so we did that, and then sure enough, it fucking worked. And we are like, fuck, so much wasted time, and we were just missing one of the fucking power supply components. Like, once we plugged that shit in, it worked flawlessly. I was like, man, I was all ready to just fucking send that shit back to Newegg. We're like, you guys send me fucked up parts, like, and it was totally our fault, like, such a noob PC building moment. Um, but yeah, what's funny is when he said that, I was thinking the whole time that something went in that slot. I was looking at it, I'm like, I feel like there needs to something to go there, but I didn't want to, I don't know, be outspoken about it, so I just let it slide. Turned out that was the problem. So, yeah, and then for Daniel's build, it went a lot smoother, except for the RAM.
Yeah, the RAM.
This guy had a hard time putting in the RAM on his motherboard.
Yeah, it
Um,
kept going in, and I'd be able to click it in, and it would still not turn on. Then one time I got one RAM going, and the other one not, so at least that one time it turned on. Took a while to get both RAMs in, and then I'm still dealing with an OS issue, unfortunately.
yeah, so whenever he finally was able to post, it would boot to the desktop and then crash, the blue screen of death. And it turns out the error was from an ASUS uh, software or something. There's
Like
like
a
an ASUS.
file that's
Yeah,
put in by the motherboard while it's on a clean install.
which which is weird, I guess, because we flashed his BIOS too. We did the same thing, like as one of the troubleshooting tests we did for mine. We did that for his too. I mean, we gave him the correct BIOS, the one with the Wi-Fi or whatever. But so we did the same troubleshooting step, and then when his got to the desktop, it crashed. Whereas mine, once it actually started working, it's been working flawlessly since. So it kind of sucked that in order to fix Daniel's issue, what we had to do is actually do a fresh install of Windows 10 to enable him to get to the desktop and kind of proceed further without it crashing. So that kind of sucks because you lost some configurations and some files and
Well, I didn't lose any important files other than like I lost OBS, which I just downloaded right now, and but I need to reconfigure that. I lost my editing softwares. So I need to go find those. Lost the Microsoft, the Office stuff. Pretty much all the launchers and stuff. I don't have, but the core files, I guess, like the saves from them and like the games and stuff. Like once I bring back Steam, which I already did, all I had to do was repath it to my games, and I'm good. I brought back UPlay, just had to repath it. I'm good. So I'm missing all like the launcher stuff, but all the stuff that like I've done in the program, I have.
yeah. Well, I mean, anytime you have to do extraneous steps is kind of a pain in the ass, but it could have been a lot worse. So,
Yes.
well, that's cool. So I guess that's about where we're at with our PC builds. We're still figuring out some of the cool, nifty things we can do. A lot of the ASUS software has a lot of options, so we're just kind of going through
Yeah.
it and playing around with it. So, anything else you want to add for that?
Nah. Nothing really.
Okay. So then we'll move on to if you do follow us when we stream, you'll know that last week, on Thursday, we tried to stream Marvel Powers United VR on our Twitch accounts, Twitch channels, and we were having hella issues. We finally got into a game together, it loaded, but we loaded outside of the map. And so we were like, fuck it, let's reload it. So we tried to reload, and then from that point on, we just couldn't play together again at all. We couldn't even get a group. Like, Oculus Home wouldn't allow me to invite him, wouldn't allow him to invite me. We just couldn't see each other. It was a big pain in the ass. And since we were streaming, even though we didn't have a cam, like people were seeing our desktop or whatever, our game footage,
Yeah.
we decided to both just do our own thing. Like I jumped into a match with AI, single player basically, and Daniel got into a match with some other randos, and so whoever was watching got a chance to see his gameplay, and then whoever was watching my channel got a chance to see my gameplay. And they were different. Like I tried out Deadpool and I think a little bit of Spider-Man on the stream. I'm not sure. I might have just did Spider-Man offline, but those are the characters that I played as, and Deadpool was a lot of fun. It's just as crazy as you would imagine. His ultimate is like all Fiesta-like. There's like colors and rainbows and unicorns. It's pretty crazy. And then Spider-Man, his ultimate's called Electro Web. Basically, the web he shoots have electric shock. Like you shoot them and they're just like getting shocked. So that was pretty cool too. And then who did you play as?
I play as Hawkeye and Iceman. And Hawkeye, I felt kind of played as like just if you've ever played VR and a game with a bow, that's what Hawkeye is. It was nothing really special in my opinion. I like the character, but It's I felt like it was something I played before. Um, Iceman, on the other hand, that was a lot of fun to play as. The ice beams and pulling like ice traps from out of the ground, like the motions you had to do. Like you can go like this, and you would build an ice, like a big ice, in, I guess,
Sickle? Icicle?
cluster. Yeah,
Cluster?
like an ice crystal or something. And then you make the motion like that, and it shatters it into a bunch of pieces and kind of like blows it out like a shotgun.
Nice.
So it's a very Iceman was very interactive, and you felt like you actually were being a superhero, like shooting beams and stuff. While Hawkeye was just like, oh no, you didn't even have to pull the bow. That's right. Which I played, games before where you actually had to pull the bow out of your freaking
A
quiver.
quiver. Yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't even do that. So I felt it was actually less intuitive than some indie games that I've played on VR.
Like Knights of the Drown Table.
Yeah, at least you don't fall through map. Or I guess you spawn outside of maps, but you don't fall through.
Maybe it's just like a bow thing. Like, if you have a
Yeah.
game that has a VR game with a bow, you just have map problems. But
But I was having issues with it. Like it was freezing while streaming, and it was my CPU. Apparently, the CPU on that game like requires a lot of CPU power. So I overclocked my CPU, and it worked flawlessly after that. It's part of the reason why we're doing the build. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with the little time that I had with it, and I hope to be playing it again soon.
yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully we'll be able to jump back in it together, and Oculus has resolved the lack of inviting power or whatever the hell the problem is. It might be on Marvel's end, it might be on Oculus's end. I actually don't know. When I googled it, we weren't the only other ones having the problem, so it's definitely like a known issue, I guess. Um, so hopefully they'll have that resolved soon. I actually did see this, and I'm not sure if you were aware of this, Daniel, but I saw that a couple people said that one of the producers or developers or something said that there will be DLC for the game. So
I didn't see that, but that's cool. I'm looking forward to playing as Iron Man. He's my favorite hero, even before the movies. I'm
yeah,
actually disappointed that everyone bandwagoned on him now. I liked being the the only Iron Man fan, I guess.
yeah, like when we played Marvel Heroes back when that was still in existence,
Yeah.
Daniel chose Iron Man as his starter, so he's not lying. And it's just kind of mind-boggling to me that Iron Man's not default in the game. We discussed this off cam before, and I think it has something to do with the Civil War II storyline. But I mean, unless you're like a really huge comic nerd or Marvel fan, you won't know that. Like people that are just casual VR and Marvel fans will be like, "Where the fuck is Iron Man?" So I don't know. Hopefully, he'll be one of the DLC characters.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add to that?
Nah, didn't get much game time with only a few hours, so not much to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you've been living under a rock, then, or unless you've been living under a rock, I should say, you might have seen the Nathan Fillion fan film of Uncharted. Uncharted is a highly successful Sony franchise, Sony exclusive franchise. And Nathan Fillion recently made a fan film with, I don't know, some unknown director, as far as I know, no one I had heard of. And I think it's only about 15 minutes long. It's on YouTube for free. You don't have to do anything special. Just Google Uncharted Fan Film with Nathan Fillion and check it out if you haven't already. It's actually really good. It has a scene in it that's very much like the video games, kind of like over the shoulder. You get behind cover, you have a gun. Like it was very cool. It reminded me actually a little bit of the first, or maybe it is the only, the Doom movie with The Rock that came out 20 years ago where they had like the first person sequence. It's not that in depth, but just the fact that they try to mimic the game so close to the on screen, so closely on screen was really cool. So um, I don't think Daniel's had a chance to check that out yet, but
Nope.
I mean I like Uncharted, so I decided to check it out. Plus I'm a huge Nathan Fillion fan as well. He was in Firefly and Castle and Doctor Horrible's sing along blog, which is hilarious. So yeah, it's cool. Check that out. They didn't
Did
put
you
a link
see?
in the description.
Did you
Go ahead.
see? This is a little off note about Uncharted. The developer, they explained why the main character is able to take so many bullets.
No.
The explanation is that he never really gets shot. That that's his luck running out, and then finally his luck runs out.
So he has a luck meter, basically.
Pretty much his health isn't his luck, not health. And every single time that you get, shot, quote unquote, shot, it's part of his luck going away. But I guess you regen health too, so your luck that comes back. Or I haven't played the game, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's that's a weird explanation, but if it
Yeah, I
works, it
think
works.
I think it's dumb, but I guess that's the way to justify it.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, and I mean, there's only one more thing that we wanted to mention here, and it's just again going back to Fortnite because it's so fucking popular. As of July 19th, which is like 2 weeks ago, maybe not even 2 weeks ago, Fortnite has grossed more than $1.2 billion, which is absolutely fucking insane because it's a free to play game, and so that means all y'all motherfuckers are spending that shit on cosmetics. And, well, battle passes or whatever, which allow you to unlock cosmetics. As someone who's inclined to occasionally buy some cosmetics, that is fucking insane. Even to me, that's fucking insane. I, yeah. And, that's runaway success is what's causing all these other games to try and copy it. Like with the PUBG Battle Pass. You heard about that, right?
No, but I heard about Battlefield.
Oh, well, yeah. All these other games are going to be doing it too. But so, like, PUBG, which Fortnite ripped off PUBG. Let's be 100% on that. Fortnite, PUBG, ripped it off. Now it's going the other way. PUBG is stealing the whatever, Battle Pass from Fortnite, where you pay, I don't know, $10 for whatever season it is, and then you complete objectives and you unlock cosmetics. PUBG has that now too. But people in PUBG are pissed about it because they already paid, $30 to $60, whatever the game
Right, for the
runs,
game.
for the game, yeah, and then they're paying for the fucking pass too. So those people are really pissed off, and I can see their frustration and anger as valid because that's in Fortnite it makes sense because you get the game for free, you can play it on any platform, whatever. You pay a little bit to get the cosmetics, fine. But if you already pay for the game and then you have to pay for a pass too, it's kind of jacked up.
Yeah, I honestly don't understand the appeal of Fortnite. I don't think it's that great. If you like the game, good for you. I do see this as another Call of Duty situation that we had back in Modern Warfare 2, where all the games started copying Call of Duty to try to capitalize off its success, and none of them did it because you're not going to beat I guess the king of it at their own game. That's kind of when I stopped playing Xbox when Halo 4 came out, and it was pretty much Call of Duty in space. When Gears Judgment came out, which is pretty much a Gears of War version of Call of Duty. Like I unfortunately see that kind of stuff happening again with Fortnite. And so while I don't know, I just don't want it to ruin shooters the way Call of Duty did. We're still recovering from that.
Yeah, and obviously we haven't recovered because it's now everyone's trying to do Fortnite basically. So,
But I have Overwatch to play at least.
yeah. I mean, there are tons of other games to play, so we're not at a loss. But anyway, yeah, so I guess that's probably going to do it for this episode. I've been Matthew,
I've been Daniel.
and until next time, you guys have yourselves a wonderful time, day, evening, whenever you decide to watch this, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yep, laters.
Bye.